Hello all, today we're gonna discuss about this important question from MPS-3 of Ignou Sociology, or it comes under public administration also for some other students. So this topic is very important, and it's the base to understand further topics related to judiciary, federalism and etc. as such. So without further ado, we shall be continuing with this topic. I have gone through whole of this and I understood the structure, composition, working, everything as such, but in a glimpse I will give you the answer writing part, how you can present it in the examination so as to fetch better marks. So first you need to understand what are the questions that will be asked from this concept. As you can see, I have made a note of the format of the questioning. Discuss the role of parliament in Indian politics as such, it will be asked, or what is the concept of parliamentary sovereignty, is it free from judicial review. So here he is linking parliament, that is legislature, and the functioning of judiciary, their roles and responsibilities, checks and balances. It acts as a system of checks and balances, and role of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha as custodians of parliamentary democracy and everything as such. So whatever you are going through this one, you can't write everything here, right? So first, how you need to start the answer writing. You please ignore my handwriting. I will be explaining you in depth of these all concepts that are covered in the textbook and how neatly you can present in the exam. To begin with, whatever might be the question, you have to give some intro part. For that one, you just need to keep some heading to mention the background of the evolution of parliament. So you can say like roots of the evolution of parliamentary democracy in India. So what are the major reforms taken by the British to initiate the bicameral legislature, what we are seeing today in contemporary India? So you can mention about Indian Councils Act, Morley Minto reforms 1909, Montagu-Chelmsford reforms 1919, and Government of India Act 1935. So in case if he exclusively asks to mention about the evolution of the structure, then you can mention furthermore points telling what exactly these reforms are meant for. But for any other type of question, you just need to mention the intro part. And then comes how about the structure of our legislature. So I gave it in a neat way. You can make flowcharts as as you can see over here. So basically we have in a democracy, as you can see, there are four major pillars: legislative, executive, judiciary and media. Legislature to make or enact laws, executive to implement the laws, judiciary to interpret the laws, and media acts as a base for the survival of democracy. That question is also there. We shall be discussing it further on. So here, to mention the structure of parliament, you can simply make it synonymous to bicameral legislature. So India is based on parliamentary democracy, unlike US, where it is typically presidential democracy. Because you can find it everywhere in the news. Like US, there is nothing like a prime ministerial post. Everything is headed by the president. But unlike in India and in UK, you will find parliamentary democracy, where in British the parliament is headed by a monarch, king or queen Elizabeth, like that, their ancestors and so on. It's coming because India is a colonial ruled entity. It has also got the dominion status from the Britishers, and later on it continued further upon what we are seeing today. But there is nothing like monarchy here. Instead of that monarchical role, we will be having one presidential role. So you can understand that president, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, these are all parts of parliament or legislature. That means legislation means to enact laws. In that all law making process, we have the role of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and president. President is an integral part of legislation and also of the execution. He is such a body having roles in both of the organs. So now coming to legislature, you can frame the answer in such a way, exclusively if it is asked to mention about the role of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha as the custodians of parliamentary democracy. To encompass this question for 20 marks, you need to mention everything you gotta know. So like I will be starting in case if it is asked with the eligibility 25 years, and then for Rajya Sabha it is 30 years, and for president it is 35 years. So for qualification everything is the same. He must be citizen of India. He must not hold any office of profit. That means he must not be a member of any of the state legislative assemblies or legislative councils, and he is not bankrupt or insolvent, and he is not disqualified as per Representation of People's Act 1951. So these are the qualifications. As you can see here you can observe it clearly. So what are the qualifications? 25 years for Lok Sabha, 30 years for Rajya Sabha, 35 years for president, and he must not hold any office of profit, must not be MLA or MLC of any state, must not be bankrupt or insolvent, must not have been disqualified under Representation of People's Act 1951. So that's how it is. Now we shall comparatively give analysis, because anywhere you can find what Lok Sabha exactly is, what Rajya Sabha exactly is, but here I am giving an overall perspective comparing the parliament, executive, as such, their functioning, and how you can present it easily. And this flowchart typically helps you to remember any matter in a better way, unlike just going through that peripherally. Here it helps you to comparatively give analysis of each of the branches. So legislature, you will be going through the qualification part, and then composition. Maximum membership is 550, and here it is 250, but here current membership is 543, here it is 245. And functions, you please ignore my writing, but try to understand what I am going to convey here. So functions are like they will convene meeting. The house will convene meeting twice a year without a gap of 6 months. So in that meetings, what they will usually discuss? Budget session, monsoon session. So budget session usually from Feb to May, and monsoon session from July to September it takes place. Most important function is the legislation process. So what exactly encompasses legislation process? It is mentioned over here in the textbook. So you can write like first reading will be there, followed upon by second reading, then it will be sent to the second house for assent, then to the president, like that. So in the first reading, aim and purpose, introduction of the bill will be done. In the second reading, it will be given to some select committee. They will just go through what are all mentioned within the report or within the bill they have put forth in the house, and they will understand the whole structure of the bill, and they will recommend any suggestions or changes that are required. So it will be read clause by clause in front of the house. One select committee approves it is good enough, and then it is put to vote by the members of the parliament. Then it is so it will be sent to the second house. So this second house can be Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, because in case of ordinary powers, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha have equal powers, like ordinary bill. But in case of money bill only, Lok Sabha will be having absolute powers, but not Rajya Sabha. So Rajya Sabha can only reject. It won't have any powers, only to accept. It can't reject, or it can't amend, or it can't suggest any changes as such. So it is a rudimentary body in case of money bill for Rajya Sabha. But for any other ordinary bill or amendment bills also, it can be introduced in both the houses, and next it will be sent for the president approval. So this is the legislation process. And then you can talk about leader of opposition who is present in the Lok Sabha. For that position, he must be having at least 10% of the seats, and for the daily business and conduct of parliament, conduct of the house, there must be some quorum, like 10% of total membership. Total membership should be present in the house for the session to take place. And this daily business, the conduct, question hour, zero session, everything, these will be done planned by the Parliamentary Affairs Committee. So this Lok Sabha as such will be headed by one speaker. He has only casting vote in case of tie, and he is a member of the ruling party. And Parliamentary Affairs Committee is actually part of the cabinet. So here you can mention about the structure of Lok Sabha itself by some figure like cabinet, Council of Ministers, Lok Sabha, because of the membership. You see here there will be almost about 540 members, but Council of Ministers around 70 to 100 members. But cabinet, it will be like the chief members, or that will be like the prime position beside the prime minister. So cabinet holds the ministers of important portfolios like defense, finance, external affairs, etc. as such. So what are all other committees you can observe? Public Accounts Committee, Estimates Committee, Rules Committee, Parliamentary Affairs Committee. So this one will be planning for the conduct of the House. Public Accounts Committee is such a committee that is used for scrutinizing the accounts of the government. So obviously the membership shouldn't be of any minister, because minister obviously executive part comes under government itself, so that will not be effective if ministers are involved in that inside these committees. So it will be usually membership based on MPs only. And Estimates Committee, that will review the expenditure and revenue estimates presented by the government. And Rules Committee, that also mandates the committee mandates how this working all should take place. So next, elections. So Parliament has no tenure, and Lok Sabha has a tenure of 5 years. This is quite confusing statement, isn't it? Parliament and legislature, we found they both are synonymous initially. But what exactly makes the difference is such: Parliament means the executive body. It will not have any tenure because of the no confidence motion. Once it is passed, then the body, executive body itself, should get down and new elections, it calls for the fresh elections to take place. But Lok Sabha, who are all the MPs, that means they are legislatures, not like executive body, not ministers. For them it is like 5 years tenure, so they will continue in the MP position only, because that is done by the people's choice. But for the executive part, that is the ministers and all ministerial positions, the government as such, how it is running, that doesn't have any tenure. So once no confidence motion is successfully passed by special majority of 2/3 members of the House present and voting, then that must be removed and new elections must take place. Okay, so that's what you need to mention in a box, inside some box, or in some note point you can mention it. So for Lok Sabha member, for Lok Sabha House, for those members it will be of 5 years, but for Parliament there is no tenure as such because of the no confidence motion. Removal, that means removal is by no confidence motion. Okay, next we shall discuss about Rajya Sabha. Here also eligibility you will write as such, and composition, it is permanent body and it is not subject to dissolution, unlike the Parliament, Lok Sabha. So here 1/3 of its members retire for every 2 years, so elections will take place biennially. And functions, as I have told already, ordinary bill, it is having on par powers for Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Amendment bill also the same, but for money bill it can't reject or amend. It is not having much power in money bill, and it has some special powers like under Article 312, All India Service, any new All India service like judicial service as such can be formed, and under Article 249 it can frame any law that are related to the state subject. Rajya Sabha literally means Rajyom ka Sabha, means a Sabha of the states. Rajyas means states. That means it can make any law based on the state list. Now the president comes. So here you can mention his executive powers. President is the executive head, while prime minister, I will write you see, president is the executive powers. He is having executive powers. Prime minister is also an executive. He runs the government. But what typically makes the difference is president is the head of state, while Prime Minister is the head of executive or government. So that is the major difference. So he is somewhat resembling the monarchy, but not typically monarchy as seen in British Parliament. So President, you can say he is the head of the state, whereas Prime Minister, because of his power with and relations with Council of Ministers, they swim and sink together, what we typically call. They are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. Instead, to the Lok Sabha, to all those 543 membership, whatever is there, they are part of it and they are collectively responsible to Lok Sabha only. Okay, so that is what the difference here. So you can mention the presidential powers, his eligibility and functions. You can see here legislative function, veto power, executive, judiciary, military, financial powers. So this one I will tell you in some moment. And election is through proportional representative system. So unlike in Lok Sabha, election takes place through first past the post system, but in Rajya Sabha MPs, they will be like 12 nominated by the president, and for them also it is through first past the post system, and for president it is proportional representation. For Rajya Sabha MPs it is proportional representative system, and for president it is based on the electoral college. So for president, this is please ignore this one. This is for Rajya Sabha, proportional representative system, and first past the post system. Okay. So for president, it will be like electoral college based on state legislative assemblies, MLAs, and the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha MPs. So for president, it is Lok Sabha plus Rajya Sabha MPs and state MLAs. All state MLAs will elect the president. Okay. So now these functions I shall tell you.